Thanks. Yes, thanks, Roger, and thanks, Darren. The answer is yes. We are offering people on modest incomes the chance to have part rent ownership of homes, and indeed we want to step that up. I think that if you look at the groups that are facing challenges at the moment in London, there are people who are in need of affordable housing of all kinds, and that should include people who in good jobs, who are absolutely vital for our society, but who are just finding it impossible to get on the property ladder. And that's why we've delivered 26,000 First Steps homes since 2008. About 36,000 Londoners have been helped onto the property ladder, and we're going to continue with those programmes. We've got some very ambitious targets for First Steps, and we want 250,000 Londoners to benefit from this scheme in the next 10 years.
It sounds good in theory, but the reality is often these homes are anything but affordable. Lime Wharf in Hackney, the monthly cost there, £2,351 for a three-bed home. A couple with a combined income of 33,000, which you say is the average, simply wouldn't be able to afford the rent on that, let alone any other cost of living expenses. And even a couple at the maximum end of your scale for the affordable rent, on 80,000, would still struggle to be able to afford the basics. So is this model really actually delivering something that is affordable?
Well, yes, because the average income of the total that we've helped so far is about £36,000. So we are helping people in that bracket. But plainly, Darren, the market is unbelievably strong. They're cooling off a little bit at the moment, but it has been unbelievably strong. And you know, the average cost of a home in London is now about £450,000, £500,000. And in circumstances like that, it is obviously very, very tough for people.
Well, given
the answer
given how expensive it is, though,
not just to build homes for social rent and for affordable rent.
Agreed, but do we need to look at other models?
We do, and so what we're
aside from your model, do we need to look at others?
We do, and what we're looking at is a series of housing zones, as I've talked about in the past, where we will try to build loads of homes. I mean, really tens of thousands on each site, with any luck, that will be many of them for exactly this market that we're trying to satisfy. People, Tom's got a question later on about the rental market, and that is expanding. I mean, I think London is now, for the first time in memory...
Yeah, I've got limited time, so I'm not dealing with rental today.
I'm answering your question about exploring more models.
Thank you.
Exploring more models. But that's exactly
well, what about...
We are looking at private rent as well.
Community land... What about community land
trust? The overwhelming answer, if you'll stop bellowing at me, is to build more homes. And that's
what about community land trusts as an alternative model for affordable home ownership, given that the cost of the land is the single biggest cost? Could that not be a better way forward than your shared ownership scheme, which looks to be so out of reach of people on relatively high incomes?
I must be honest with you, Darren. I don't think that, although we have delivered London's first community land trust at St Clement's Hospital, and I'm very proud of it, and I think it's a great scheme, and we will do another one, as I've said, on the Olympic site. I cannot pretend to you today that I think that CLTs are going to deliver anything like the volume that we need.
I'll leave it there, because I
we need to build hundreds of thousands more homes. CLTs are quite difficult to construct, as you'll have seen, because you have to have the land available. That's very expensive land. The public body in question has to take a hit on the value. So if that was the point of your question about CLTs, I don't think that is. You would waste less time, if I may say so, if you asked a question about community land trusts on the title of your question. If that is what you wanted to ask, why not ask it?
I think you have completed the point. Okay.